This is our transmission upgrades we're going to use on our compound build we have going. Ultimately, we know at some point we're going to have to put a built transmission in this. We have a pretty low mileage 5R110, and general rule of thumb is the 5R110 is a stout transmission. Needs some upgrades, yes, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be able to handle the power for quite a while. There's lots of folk stories and everything. I can tell you I have personal experience handling 600 horsepower for a year and a half plus. It all depends on how you abuse your transmission. Lots of boosted launches, you'll blow it up. Get it spinning, it can hold the power. Okay, so anyways, what we're going to do to our transmission, we're going to do an upgraded transmission pan. When we do that, we're going to do the 6.4 transmission filter, 5R110 as well, but the upgraded transmission filter. And we are also going to remove the toilet paper filter. In that process, we're going to install the diesel site remote mount transmission filter with a Baldwin spin-on filter, okay? So we're gonna upgrade filtration dramatically by removing that toilet paper filter up front, which is this delete kit right here, okay? We're going to install this kit, and then we're going to upgrade our capacity plus cooling ability of the transmission with this cast aluminum pan. Of course, we could paint it all black and make it look all pretty. I'm not going through that stuff. Comes with everything you need to install a new gasket from Diesel Site, with a filter, comes with your studs and nuts. This right here alone is right at $250-ish, I want to say. Really good deal. This filter is right at $250, and the transmission toilet paper filter delete kit is right at 150 bucks. Basically some fittings with some upgraded transmission line. These aren't high pressure hoses, so you don't have to worry about any of that. We're gonna get started on this. We're gonna get this installed this morning, show you guys how to do this. Pretty excited to put this kit on, and then we'll come from there. We're gonna keep working on our build. This first step in the transmission, drain the oil, pull the pan here, okay? So we're gonna use 13 to pull this guy, let her drain. And then next, we're going to use a 10 to pull all of these guys right around here, okay? So we're gonna get started doing that. Should only be a few quarts in here, so won't take that long to drain it. Especially with a 100,000 mile transmission. Everything I've seen coming out of there is perfectly normal. I always like to get these ones around the back first because they're a pain to get to. So after these four back here, you can usually get all the rest of them with a handy dandy impact wrench. Folks, you won't have to honestly worry about saving any of this hardware. We're going to replace it all with this kit that Diesel Site sends us. So just get these bolts out, and then throw them away, honestly. Don't need them, but these ones right back here against the transmission mount are really snug. There's the other one right there. We're gonna let that drip for a second. We're gonna take this filter out of here. Yes, there is some upgrades to the solenoids. I'm not gonna do them right now. Don't think it's needed because ultimately I'm gonna replace this transmission anyways. Just trying to help extend the life and show you guys a quality kit to upgrade if you're not building crazy horsepower. You're just gonna keep it in that 500 range. This transmission pan upgrade is a great upgrade along with the filter upgrade. So for my application, I'm not going to replace the EPC or direct clutch solenoid because ultimately I'm going to replace the transmission, and we'll dive into that when we get there. But for now, this is just a good upgrade, something I figured would be good to show you guys, so that's why we're doing it. So we took and sprayed it down around the outside with some brake clean. Now I'm just going to give it a good wipe down. It's going to drip. It's never going to stop dripping. One of the most important things I can say is do not open your transmission if you're outdoors and it's super windy. I don't know if you guys can hear, but it's windy today, so ultimately we wouldn't be doing this outdoors if we were doing this if we were trying to do this upgrade. You do not want to get dirt in here. Transmission is hydraulic. Hydraulics and dirt don't mix very well. Okay, so I've kind of just wiped it off around. These diesel side kits come with all new studs, which is awesome. They come with this Allen wrench as well, okay? I grabbed my handy dandy ratchet with the same size just in case I need it. We're gonna go around and thread all these guys in. Really, you just want to go until it's hand tightened, basically, a couple foot-pounds of torque, nothing crazy. Just like any other stud that you install, because it's just it's a simple install. Just work your way around. A little dark under here, so it's hard to see these. Most of the time you can finger them all in, grab your either the provided Allen wrench or a socket, give it a quick twist. Go through and just snug them all up by hand and then go through and my hand's going numb. Now that I've got them all installed with fingers, I'm going to go around, just start in one spot and work my way around. I think I already put this one, so start in this corner. notice in some spots the bolts will go all the way through. I usually put them till they're, till they're at least just lightly touching the top side up here. You can feel it when it comes through. Okay. Doesn't go through, it bottoms out, and you can feel it when it bottoms out. We started here, boom, 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 and then we came back and forth, worked our way around kitty corner, crossing from one side to the other as we tighten up all the bolt pan, or pan bolts, okay? Now we're going to just gonna make sure this is nice and snug, the drain pan, or the drain plug. Doesn't have to be overly tight. 10-15 pounds right in there. So there it is, the pan's installed. So right here we've got our diesel site external transmission filter system, okay? We make these for, we offer these for 4R100, 5R110, different, and then ZF6 as well, okay? So our application's a 5R110, so it's going to use 1/2-inch lines. In the kit you get your filter mount block. You have your fittings that go on each side of the filter assembly. And then right here you have your fitting. This is for your return line. So if you look on the automatic transmission, on the 5R110 automatic transmission, on the ZF6, it's the top is the return line from the filter, from the cooler. The top is the return. On the 5R110, the rear of your transmission is the return line. So what you would do is take your return line out of the transmission, and this is all explained in the directions here, okay, but we're going to show you on camera. Take your return line out of the transmission and install this into the return line, and then this comes around and goes into here, comes filters, and goes back to the transmission. Since we're removing, for our setup, removing the toilet paper filter, this is just something I thought would be a good add-on, plus a great chance to show you guys how to install it. So for the directions, first things first, we're going to install, this is if you wanted to put a pressure gauge or a temp gauge in, so it's great to add. Run that guy in there. Next we're gonna run these guys in. Says in and out on here, pretty straightforward. This is going to mount up on your frame rail, inside of your frame rail underneath. Comes with these two bolts here. Pretty simple mounting process. I'm going to grab the socket I need, and we're going to go underneath and install this real quick. Now come underneath, and what you want to do is kind of find not every, but some trucks are going to be a little different than others. Really just depends on the truck. Find somewhere that you can mount it. Obviously right here is not going to work because when you can't spin your filter on, and that's where it is in our picture, okay? I don't want to have to re-drill a whole bunch of holes in the frame, so I've been just going around test fitting, and it looks like these two will work for our application. So what I'm going to do is take my drill with a 25/64 bit on it. It's just a 1/64 of an inch bigger than a 3/8 bolt, and I'm going to drill out right here. just to make sure that I have enough clearance. Ow, it was hot down my sleeve. Clearly, it would have been better to take and wash this truck before installing this. It was dead, so it wouldn't move. That should give me enough clearance to get this bad boy installed. Put a big washer on there. Now I test fitted the line, so we should be good to reach over there to back to our return line to the transmission. Like I stated when we were drilling this out, okay, sometimes you got get a little creative when you're doing customized work on a truck. So needless to say, we are doing some pretty I guess you would call it heavy stuff to this truck. So as I've stated in this whole process, we are doing a little custom fab. This kit is designed to work really well with a stock transmission and a stock setup. Ultimately, my rough estimate was a little off, so I had to grab a fitting. This is just a dash 12 fitting you can grab at any hydraulic store. Okay, it'll thread on right here, and because this is the out back to the transmission, we're going to go like that, snug it up. And then I'm going to start this over here, because these lines on this side are a pain to start, but get this side started first. And I'm going to kick this up over our frame and hook it right up to this guy right here. These are a JIC fitting, so they're pretty forgiving when it comes to installation. Okay, you just want to make sure that you have this somewhere that it's not kinking anywhere. Once you get that done, I kind of like the routing of that. It's pretty decent. Another spot would be to send it this way, like that. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with that. I like that better. It's just lightly touching right there, but it's more hidden. Now I'm gonna tighten up the transmission side. So that dashed, I think it's a dash 12 if I recall correctly. JIC fitting, you can get it at any hydraulic store. Fastenal, Spencer, a couple other ones, depending on where you're at. Just look for a hydraulic store. We're gonna snug this up and then snug this up. I might keep these fittings around, so it worked out really well for me. But because we're also doing the filter delete, the toilet paper filter delete up front, we had to get a fitting for this side because we can't install that 90 degree the kit or 90 degree piece that comes with from the factory line to here. We can't install that to this side. I keep fittings around, so that worked out really well for me. I understand not everybody's going to do that, but it's a push lock fitting, and what we'll do is this push lock fitting just pushes on, comes over, and this comes from your cooler back to here. So that's there. Okay, so this is going to come up to the cooler up front, which I'll walk up front and show you guys that in just a minute. I'm going to spin that filter on, and then we're going to hook up the other filter delete part as well. Okay, so spin this bad boy on here. You can get this filter at any Napa, AutoZone, O'Reilly's. Any of them should be able to order you this Baldwin filter. It'll make for changing filters, the secondary filter, super easy. This is the other fitting that comes with the filter delete kit, okay? So we're gonna run this into our outlet line on for the transmission cooler. So this fitting is gonna go right here. Now your other one that comes with would go in here as well. You need to remove this guy for the filter delete. And then remove the stock fitting. Take it all the way out. And then you'll thread that fitting in, and I'll show you how to hook that up. Get your sealing washer on there and run this bad boy in there. Okay. And then this guy will press on, and then you'll snip this in. This is the other part of the filter delete, okay? So now I'm just gonna kind of leave these hanging here for right now. I'll end up zip tying it right there, right there. Probably bring this back a little bit more, zip tie there, and then to the harness and whatnot, okay? But that's gonna stay right there. And these are gonna go to your cooler. Just make sure they're pressed all the way on. There is a rubber washer right here. Rubber O-ring, an O-ring to help seal it. And you could put a clamp right here, it's not gonna hurt. If you wanted to. But yeah, this is kind of where it's at so far. Now we're gonna go up front. I'm just gonna give you a quick walkthrough of how this will be installed up there. And then we're gonna get to work on the engine side of things. This is the front of the truck. Our stock transmission lines ran through there. So that's why I ran these guys through. I don't have them zip tied up, snug or anything. Ultimately, what I'll probably end up doing is bring these lines back around here and zip tying them up around here. Because if you remember, your stock filter sits right here, mounts right here, and hangs right there. But anyways, these are going to come over into your cooler as the concept. This is the supply, this is the return. The shorter line is the return, the longer line is the supply. So basically you'll hook these into your radiator with the fittings that are provided in the kit. This is also an opportunity to bypass the radiator. I personally don't use the one in the radiator, if you guys remember that from the first video. Needless to say, these lines would go right into your transmission cooler if you're running an aftermarket transmission cooler as well. So anyways, that's where we're at. We're gonna keep moving on.